Welcome back to It's Not You, It's Your Trauma. I'm Joe Ryan. If you want to know more about me, you can go to joeryan.com. Podcast is advertiser free. It's supported through contributions and a subscription model. Half the episodes are free. The other half are behind a paywall. You can subscribe to the paid episodes at either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I'm also an inner work coach. I help people through their abuse, their trauma, their neglect, addiction, anxieties, fear, lack of self-worth. You can book a free 30-minute session to see if I'm a right fit for you at joeryan.com/coaching. All right, here we go. Whenever you get angry, cop a resentment, or overreact, it is an excellent opportunity to become unstuck for growth and healing. So much of what keeps us in fear is the unprocessed, unresolved anger that lies within us. Anger is our power. It is our protection. Without anger, we are doormat people pleasers. And when somebody sets us off, when we get a resentment or anger with somebody or overreact to somebody, we're giving them all the power, and we're remaining stuck, helpless victims. See, that trigger, that anger, that resentment, that overreaction is something that you are protecting inside. And when you want somebody else to change or give you something so that you don't feel your anger, it's because you don't know how to protect that place any other way. It is a default unconscious reaction. And most of us don't have a healthy relationship with anger. Most of us weren't allowed to have our anger. Most of us, when we feel anger, we go into guilt and shame. And if we ever get that justified anger, watch out, because the gloves come off. But we really, truly need to find out what we're protecting. See, if somebody pisses me off and then I go to them and I need to hear certain words, I need to see some kind of action, I'm giving them the power and I'm taking it all away from me. And the reason the anger is there is because I'm protecting a vulnerable part of me that I'm not sure what it is or why I am reacting the way I am reacting. And when we start to look to other people, I have like this default mode that's like, fuck you, line in the sand, not moving past it until you lean in and you take care of my hurt, even though I haven't expressed my hurt to you. I haven't articulated it. I haven't confronted you with it because normally I'm a chicken shit because I fear rejection. I fear anger, my own and others. But when you start getting in touch with your anger, you start to fear other people's anger so much less. But it is this place of resentment that we hold on to so tight out of protection that keeps us stuck. We're not emotionally free. Like when we get angry or we get resentful, it's our responsibility to figure out the why of it. It's not somebody else's responsibility to take it away. We can just walk away from these people if we want. But that's too much. Because if you don't have a connection with self, connections from the outside become so important. And a lot of this is we weren't seen as children. And when we feel like we're not being seen and we're not being valued, that's part of us that we're protecting when we get in our anger. That I was helpless as a child, that there was nothing I can do about being emotionally ripped off, neglected, or abused. But when I feel it, even closely resembling anything like that feeling as an adult, I can't handle that fearful, shameful feeling. So what happens is, my body reacts, and then my anger gets tapped so that I can put up walls and box you out so that I can feel protected. But if I need to keep going to you for you to resolve my anger, you get all the power. And I remain a helpless victim. You're never going to be able to be whole and complete unless we start getting in touch with our anger. And the cycle can't be somebody makes me angry, I get pissed off, I withdraw, I put up walls, I draw that line in the sand, I need them to lean in, I'm a passive-aggressive douchebag until my anger slowly subsides and the walls go down, I let you back in again, and then you do the same shit again, and I wall up, I become passive-aggressive, wash, rinse, and repeat. Like, when does it end? It ends when you start to get in there and understand why you are angry, and what you really are is you are hurt. Anger is masking the hurt, because it's too painful to relive the hurtful past. And if you're not willing to go back to these wounds, to these places where you were hurt and broken and damaged and blown up emotionally, and try to understand what had happened and work through your anger towards the people that did it to you. You see, we think that being angry at them is going to be protection, but it's not. All it does, it hurts us and it limits us. So we got to go back in and start to resolve the unresolved anger from the people who betrayed us from the past. And we can't go to them and say, please be different this time. Please don't gaslight me. Please don't neglect me. Please don't abuse me. Please don't humiliate me. That just keeps them in their power and keeps you helpless. Their opinion of you no longer needs to matter. And we need to start getting in touch with this anger so we can start to resolve it. And we don't need the other people in our lives. It's part of the reason I left my family. I was so hurt that came out in anger that I needed to leave. Because when I kept going to them with being hurt, I was being dismissed, which just reinforces the narrative that I'm not good enough and I'm not lovable enough for anybody to care for. You see, when nobody allowed you to care for yourself and you had to care for everybody else, when you get angry, you don't know how to take care of yourself emotionally. You don't know how to self-soothe. And the other part of this is also moving forward and finding out things that bring you joy, that make you happy, finding hobbies and things that feed your soul. So if you're not going back to heal wounds and you're not moving forward through fear to obtain the things in the life that you want, a lot of that time it's because you're stuck with so much unresolved anger. And a lot of that anger that you had as a child that you weren't allowed to express, that got stored up in your body, was turned against yourself in self-hate. Because we're really looking for somebody, anybody, to value us because we don't know how to value ourselves. So we self-abandon, we give ourselves to these fucking yahoos, hoping that they're finally going to be the person that sees me, that gets me, that loves me, that values me, and that supports me. That person is you and you alone. And until you start doing that for yourself, nobody will ever fucking do it for you. So the anger, I know it's frightening. Like, I was always afraid to get in touch with my anger because I had no relationship to it, that if I got it, I tapped it or it tapped me from something out external. There was a part of me that was afraid that I could go into a murderous rage because it's like a pressure cooker. You just keep eating anger and resentments and you keep burying it inside of you, that all it's going to take is for somebody to bump into you and you're going to lose your shit. Because you can only store it in you so long. And when you're afraid of your anger and you're afraid of other people's anger, you're not moving forward. You're in protective mode all the time. You're afraid to make a move in any direction. You're afraid to speak up for yourself. because you're putting all of the power into other people's hands. When somebody triggers you, it's a gift. I know it doesn't feel like it, but this is a place when you get triggered, when you get angry, when you overreact, when you are resentful, that is a signal for you to start paying attention and ask yourself the question, what am I protecting by this overreaction? And once you understand what you're protecting and why, you can build better coping skills than unconsciously going to anger and resentment. But you got to simultaneously move back in one path and start to get in touch with the anger and most of us are going to be our caregivers. We're pissed off. They didn't treat us right. And then we spend the rest of our lives going out there in the world, either going back to them or trying to attach to people that'll give us what we should have gotten in childhood. And we don't have protection, and we don't have our walls because we don't have our anger. And then people use, control, manipulate us. And then we get resentful and we wall up again, and it's the same pattern over and over. You know, when I left my family, the goal was to resolve the anger, the resentment, the hurt, and the pain, because I couldn't go to them. They're not capable. I wish they were capable, but for me to keep going to an empty well, you know, at some point it becomes my fault and my responsibility that I'm trying to be loved and cared and appreciated and nurtured by people that don't have that ability, which will make me a fool in the end if I keep going back. But when you start to resolve that anger towards them and you get to see the situation a little more clearly and a better perspective, the responsibility for your anger is on you, not the person who caused it, because that's going to give them the power. And you have to take your power back by addressing your own anger. It's easy to blame. Listen, I'm the king of it. I don't feel right. It's always got to be somebody else's fault because I deserve better treatment than this. Well, why am I hanging around with these people if all they do is keep giving me resentments? Because I'm lonely, I'm needy, I'm trying to plug childhood holes through other people. And I keep allowing them to do the same thing because I don't feel strong enough to be on my own because I'm codependent. So one way to get rid of your codependency is to get in touch with your anger and start building better boundaries and protecting yourself in a more healthy way where you're just not a walking trigger reaction. If you sit tonight in bed, quiet, and you lay down and you start to feel discomfort in your body, it's going to be fear, it's going to be hurt, it's going to be pain, it's going to be resentment, it's going to be anger, it's going to be a lot of things. But avoiding it and yelling at people or hitting people or fighting with people or cutting people out, it only hurts you in the end. I have family members that are very unhappy with me with the way I left. And as I've been slowly integrating myself back into the family system, more healthy at this point, there are some of them that will not have me to their houses, that will not allow me to show up for holidays. And I can feel hurt. I can feel rejected. I can feel unvalued or unloved, and I can blame them, and I can get spiteful, and I can wall up, and I can use all of that energy. But at this point, I just look at them and go, how sad that you have to live this way and shut people out because that's the only way that you know how to protect yourselves. I mean, we're blood, man. We're kin. We're relation. It doesn't matter. All they know is that they are hurt and they are angry, and that anger is protecting something in them. Maybe they know that they're wrong. Maybe they know that they didn't treat me right. Maybe they think I'm just an asshole and they don't want to have me in their life. Maybe my healthy living and the way I've adjusted with doing all this work is a mirror that they don't want to look at. It doesn't matter. It could be a million fucking things. But their opinion of me doesn't matter because the anger that I did have for them for not treating me well, I have worked through on my own, and I have resolved it. And I am emotionally free. When there are those rare occasions when we're in the same room, which is usually once a year, I am not uncomfortable. I am not on guard. I am not caring how I'm being perceived. But if I was resentful and I was protecting something, I would have to go in there walled up. So we got to address the anger, and you got to get in touch with it. And if your first reaction is to blame, and if we have, here's another point. If we have abandonment issues, which most of you listening, I'm assuming, do, we have a tendency to choke the shit out of relationships out of fear. And if you are more narcissistic type of control, you're going to be mentally, emotionally, possibly physically abusive, because the fear is somebody else leaving you, somebody else abandoning you, somebody else not seeing you good enough. And for the empaths, the people pleasers, the codependents, we do it in the opposite way. We completely give ourselves up, give this person everything that we think they need, anticipating any of their wants, needs, and desires, and trying to fill them. And the hopes is that if we give them all of this, we're not really doing it for them. It's the flip side of narcissism. We're doing it for ourselves. It is completely selfish. We are giving overtly. Look at my worth. Look at my value. Finally, somebody is going to see what I truly believe somewhere inside of me, that I am a good human being that is worthy of love, care, and support. And if I give you everything that I never had, that I always needed, you will never leave me. And under the table, I'm hoping to get back what I've been giving. And neither works. Excuse me. The narcissist and the empath people pleaser, both selfish, both manipulating, both controlling, both fearful, covering hurt and protecting wounds. The difference is the way we go about it. One more mean, nasty, vicious. The others are more supportive, caring, loving, and giving. But we're both looking for the same thing. We're looking for that one person who's going to validate the one thing that has always kept us fighting. That there's a part of us somewhere that doesn't believe the truth about the way we were parented. There's a part of us that doesn't believe we are worthless, unlovable pieces of shit who have no worth and value and would be lucky to have anybody, no matter how abusive, to be in our lives just so that we can't be alone. There's a part of you that has never given up. There's a part of you that knows that you are worthy and you are lovable and you are good. But you're putting yourself in places with people trying to get the mirror back so that you can finally feel healed. It doesn't work coming from the outside. Does it help? Sure, it fucking helps. Positive mirroring definitely helps. Tell people liking you and people enjoying you, that helps your self-esteem. This is the shit you should have had as a kid. That's why you go find a surrogate family for people who support you. But it's not going to get you there. But until you start feeding yourself on a deeper level, when you start going against your family system role and you start setting boundaries and you start getting in touch with your anger and you stop disclosing every fucking moment of your day, everything you ate, everything you thought, everything you said, everything that you're planning. Full disclosure, open yourself up, having no boundaries in this desperate attempt to connect with people because you want to feel loved and valued. That has to come from inside. And anger is one of the things that's blocking it. I still fuck up. I still make mistakes. I still get self-hate triggers. But the only difference is now that I forgive myself. because all of that anger that I've had to all of those people that wronged me, and I ended up turning against myself, saying if I was better, if I handled this better, if I was funnier, if I was smarter, if I was more available, this wouldn't have happened to me, is all bullshit. I got to stay home inside myself and process the anger so I can get to the hurt and get to the pain and get to the origin so that healing can finally begin.
Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.